couple years ago, I built a profit switcher for Hive OS, and if you followed the channel for a while, you probably have seen those videos. Some of my older videos covered lots of things with this. They've got the profit switcher. I did videos on how to configure it, running FPGAs through it. I implemented auto exchanging, things like that. In fact, one of the earlier videos was how to build one yourself from scratch. Basically building a command line profit switcher for your Hive OS rigs that would monitor profitability or yield and auto switch during mining. Now that we're going into the bull run, I wanted to revisit this because I created this at a time. In fact, I created this right at the Ethereum merge. And the idea behind this was, let's target yielding, let's stack some coins, let's kind of build our own application that can run in the background, monitor profitability, and switch flight sheets. So we could still run Hive OS, we wouldn't have to change the mining operating system. But we wanted it to basically auto switch our flight sheet for us, apply our overclocks, all of that. Well, going into the bull run, I've got a little bit of a different strategy, and I decided I'm going to bring back my profit switcher and actually implement it on a lot of my machines. And we're going to see how this does throughout the bull run. And today I'm going to talk through, if you're newer to the channel, you may not be familiar with these videos from a couple years ago. So I'm going to show you how I have it configured, and we're going to kind of start with, over on my GitHub, I have basically all the code is up here. It's 100% open source, but if you scroll down, we're actually going to skip a lot of this. I'll come back to this. Take a look at the screenshots real quick. You can see, and I'll hop on over and show you this, but essentially we've got a dashboard that's going to show us logs of what it's doing. You can set up mining groups. So if you have specific power rates and you want to turn off at night, or if you want to switch to low power coins when your rate is higher, you have that flexibility through the configuration. You can define your power rate based on a start and end window, and then you can apply those rates to the rigs that are set up. This uses APIs into your Hive OS account. So all you have to do is generate an API key, plug it in, and you can auto import all of your rigs in here. And then it also has auto exchanging. So this will allow you to, if you choose to mine to an exchange, you can have it auto exchange for whatever currency you want. And this is the big part we're going to be talking about today. We're also going to be talking about the profit switching piece. But the real power of this, especially going into a bull run, is the auto exchanging piece. So typically my strategies from a mining perspective are mine for yield in the bear market, hold, hold, hold. And then in the bull run, I typically will mine and sell every day. To me, it doesn't matter. I basically accumulate through the bear run, which is the majority of the time. And then I will basically sell daily because everything's just going up, going up, going up. You've got a lot of volatility too happening in the bull run. So you might have days where you see 20% gains. You might have days where you see 30% losses. So one of the things that this allows you to do is you can auto exchange into pretty much any currency that is on any of the supported exchanges. So if I hop on over and say I've got TradeOgre set up right now and I've got ZegX set up. These are two of the really popular altcoin exchanges for miners. And you can see right now on ZegX, I'm swapping everything into INN, which is Innova. And then on TradeOgre, I'm swapping everything into Ethereum Classic. And I say everything. These are exclusions. So if I have any BTC, LTC, Doge, Zcash, Polygon, or Ethereum in my account, it will not auto exchange those. It'll just hold those. Now, going into the bull run, if you wanted, instead of swapping in the ETC, you could just swap into USDT. If we come in here, these are the exchanges that are supported. So if I wanted to mine to ZegX, and as an example, if I wanted to then take my earnings and every day convert those to Tether, I could do that here. And then you define basically your API key, your API secret. And then if you want to do auto withdrawals, you can do that. I choose to do that. TradeOgre does not support withdrawals through API, but all the other exchanges do. So you can see with Zegax, I am actually auto withdrawing. So this is running on a schedule, which you can configure whatever that schedule is. For me, I'm running it like every 15 minutes. It's going out. I'm mining. I'm going to show you an example here. But essentially, I'm mining with a Caspa miner. Mining at the moment, I'm mining Cedra. And I am basically mining directly to Zegax. And then I am auto converting that. Now, there's not a direct trading pair to INN. So it's going to auto swap into USDT first and then USDT into INN. And then once I accumulate 100 INN coins, it's going to withdraw it. And this is the withdrawal fee for INN. So it's very minuscule. But with this, I'm able to mine to Zegax, have it auto swap. Whenever it hits my threshold, have it withdraw to my wallet. In this case, I am stacking a coin that I want to stack, but you can very easily do this to USDT in the bull run, and every single day, you're basically just swapping the USDT, hold that. In the bear market, you can then use that to buy hardware to expand, or you can use it to buy crypto when it inevitably will go back down again, just based on, how things work in the economy, things like that. Then, you can't buy every single day. Eventually, money will kind of run out, and we will see the market go back down. The other thing that you can do with this is you can set this up to do your Hive OS rigs and profit switch. There are profit switching modes here. So we've got profit, we've got coin stacking. This basically will look at what is the highest yield and switch to whatever would yield you the most. Then you also have diversification, where you can basically tell it to give you several different coins, and it'll try to diversify those as much as you want, or as much as it can. And then there's also a Zerg pool specific one, where it'll basically it'll always be on Zerg pool, mining to whatever payout coin you want, but it'll profit switch within Zerg pool. So you're not, hopping on and off Zerg. So that is an option you've got as well. If we take a look at how I have one of them configured, so I have an RX 560 2 gig rig. So this specific machine has 8 RX 560 2 gig cards. So I'm somewhat limited on what I can mine. Vertcoin being probably the most popular coin to mine. There are some other ones like Ubik, which Ubik doesn't have any exchanges anymore, so I'm not mining that one. There are some Kapal coins, which are less than 2 gigs of VRAM. A lot of the newer Kapal coins that I could mine with those as well, and I will probably plug those in here at some point. But for now, what I've got is I've got Vertcoin, and what you see here is this is direct mining Vertcoin. Again, I'm basically sending this payout to an exchange, or you can send it to your local wallet, however you configure it in the flight sheet. And you're going to see this flight sheet column. This is the flight sheet that will get launched in Hive OS whenever this becomes the most profitable. So if we're taking a look at this list right now, we can see that Zerg pool vert hash actually is the most profitable. So in this scenario, what I'm doing is I'm telling it to look at Zpool, mining Dutch, Zerg pool, and just direct mining the coin and identify what is the most profitable. And we can see that mining Dutch and Zerg pool both have around the same profitability, 56 cents. Now this is also taking into account my CPU. Now the CPU, you'll notice I have always direct mining Varus. I don't have, you could have Zerg VRSC in here, or Zerg Varus hash in here. I may add those later on, but for now, I'm holding all the Varus that's being mined on the CPU side of things. And then the GPU side, if it's on this one, then it will mine it, send it to the exchange. In this case would be TradeOgre, And then Trade Ogre, I have my auto exchange rule set up to Ethereum Classic. So it's then taking that Vert coin, and every 15 minutes after that deposit's made, go ahead and converting that to Ethereum Classic. And then Zpool, obviously we already have auto exchanging, which we'll have set up in that flight sheet. Same thing with Mining Dutch. Mining Dutch, we have a configuration within our Mining Dutch account that has basically a diversification portfolio that I'm doing like 40% Bitcoin and then a whole bunch of altcoins like Litecoin, Doge, Zcash. There's a couple other ones in there. And then Bitcoin Cash as well. And then with Zergpool, again, we have the auto exchange set up in the flight sheet for the coin that we want to get paid out. Now, you'll see that these figures are pretty close together, with the exception of Zpool. Zpool is actually kind of low here. But with these, because they're so close together, we don't want it to hop between those. So what we have is on the core configuration side, there is this profitability difference threshold. You can specify this, and this will look and say that before it switches flight sheet, that new coin, the pool that it's going to switch to, and the coin it's going to switch to, has to be 5% more profitable than the one you're already mining. It's smart enough to look at your Hive OS account, see what flight sheet that rig is already mining, and only switch to it if the new coin would be 5% more profitable. You can change that number to whatever you want, but you're able to take advantage of that as well. In addition, you don't have to actually have Hive OS rigs here. You can create a rig. So you see I have a KS0 profile set up here. You basically just go add new rig. You can add KS0 in here. It can be named whatever you want. And I went ahead and I set up basically a quick glance for me of so I have 4 KS0 Pros that are clocked at 235 gigahash at 110 watts. So what I can do is I can come in here. I plugged in if I was direct mining Bugna, direct mining Caspa, direct mining Cedra. And then also if I am doing K heavy hash on unminable and K heavy hash on Zerg. And something interesting you'll see here is that unminable is the least profitable. It's actually significantly low compared to, direct mining Bugna right now. And these are real time. This uses a what to mine endpoint to when you're doing direct mining. You basically go to the what to mine calculator, plug in your numbers, copy and paste it here, and then the system will use that every time it checks profitability. So right now we're seeing a little bit of a spike on Bugna, so it's actually making 22 cents. Now if you notice, I've got my power is 0, and if we hop over to the core configuration, I've got my power price is 5 cents, that's what I pay. So if I go over to Hive OS rigs, typically I don't track power price because my power rate's so low. It doesn't really bother me. It doesn't really matter that much to me. But if you wanted to track your power costs, we can go to KS0. And I know these units run at 110 watts. So I can plug in 110 here, hit update. That 22 cents will drop down to 9 cents. And this is your true profit that you would be getting. So all you have to do is just plug in your power draw. Just measure it at the wall, plug them in here, and then that will get you your exact profitability for that unit. And this all stores in a local database, so basically every time you come here, it's going to periodically refresh from what to mine. And if we just sort, we can see obviously Bugna is still the most profitable, but we're only profiting 9 cents, but it is technically 3 times more profitable than Cedra. So at a quick glance, let's get you that. And then if you, right now I have these disabled. If I enabled these, then they would show up in the grid up here. Like you can see the RX 560 rig. Right now, this has a, once it loads, this has a estimated profitability of 57 cents because that is the top most profitable coin. And again, when it runs, checks profitability, it will launch this flight sheet against that rig. And as long as you have your overclock profile set up tied to the algorithm within Hive OS, it will auto switch the overclock as well. And then the other thing I want to show you is in the core configuration, if you scroll down, you've got checkboxes to enable or disable profit switching and auto exchanging. And you can see, so right now I have profit switching turned off. I've got auto exchanging turned on. And this is a cron schedule. So this is just a standard cron format. And right now I've got this running every 30 minutes or every 15 minutes on the 15-minute mark. So if I wanted to run these every 30 minutes on the 30-minute mark, I could do that. Or if I wanted to do 31, it would run every 30 minutes at like kind of like that 1 minute mark for 31. So that gives you the ability to control the schedules you're running. Same thing if I enable profit switching. It will be the same thing here. It'll give me that ability to configure how frequently I want it to check for profitability. So by default, it's checking every 15 minutes. If you want this to check every 5 minutes, or if you want it to be more prolonged, then you could adjust that. And again, you can mess with the threshold as well. So that'll control, how frequently and when it actually changes your flight sheets. And from a Hive OS perspective, I'm just going to pop over. This is my test farm. So we've got that 560 rig in here. Right now, we are mining away. If we take a look at that flight sheet, you can see it's on the VTC plus VRSC. We've got the profit switcher turned off right now, but we do have our overclock set up here on our system. What you would want to do is we have that set up as our default config. You would probably want to, if I was going to do kapow with this, which I may do in the future, still on the fence about that one, then I would just come in, I would hit add here. This will take that template and convert it into a vertcoin template. Go ahead and hit save. Now, anytime I switch flight sheets, as long as it's Zerg vert hash or VTC under the algorithm selection in the flight sheet, it will auto apply these overclocks. Now I can create a kapow one, and on those kapow ones that I reference in the profit switcher, if I have my kapow overclocks, it will apply those whenever it switches the flight sheet as well. So it's got Rainbow Miner has like a lot of benchmarking things like that you can do in it. I don't have those, but what I do have is I have the ability to stick with using Hive OS, still using your overclock templates, and basically controlling everything in here. Now, the other thing that you'll have is you'll have a log. And so if you take a look at this log from today, we basically have all the auto exchanging that's going on. So you can see every 15 minutes when it's creating a sell order and a buy order. And you can see that it's once an hour, and that's because where the pool I'm currently mining Cedra on, they do payouts once an hour. So that payout's hitting, and then within 15 minutes, it's auto selling that Cedra for USDT, and then it's buying INN with that USDT. So this is kind of just a quick overview. I do have more thorough overviews on my channel. In fact, this video here from a couple years ago, this has a pretty good overview of each of the sections, everything that you can do, talks about the various mining methods, all of that. If you're curious about any of the functionality in detail, I do have some older videos on that as well. And then on the GitHub, if you're interested in installing this, it's very simple. I recommend running it in Docker, but I do have Hive OS installers. These are basically like one-line commands you can run to install it on a Hive OS rig. If you're running the NiceHash OS, then you can run that installer. If you're running a Raspberry Pi, you can run that installer. If you just want to run Docker, I recommend the single user mode. The multi-user mode is really only if you if you basically want to have multiple accounts and have people log in to it. That's what this is for. Typically, the multi-user is not needed. But that's really all there is to it. Um, there are tons of videos on the channel. If you guys want me to do a live stream, kind of walking through how I configure it or anything like that, or go into details about, how you get API keys from the exchanges, anything like that, just drop me a line below. Let me know. More than happy to help you guys out with that. Maybe on like a live stream, might be a little bit more interactive, going through, trying to help you guys if you are interested in running this. It's very lightweight. Like I said, I run it in Docker. You can run it pretty much anywhere. But just let me know. And there will probably be some videos covering just how I'm using this moving forward. I am actually going to be going through the process of switching a lot of things over to this, and I might, still on the fence with it, I might integrate like the PB Farmer firmware into this so that you can basically profit switch your Caspa miners if you're running the PB Farmer firmware, because it does have an API into it. So more to come on that one as well.